Hey movie junkies, welcome back to Twin Flicks, where we always celebrate movies and physical media with you. Now before we get into this review, if you haven't checked out our previous reviews for Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Shout Factory's release of Krampus, the Naughty Cut or the Director's Cut, go check them out. I did a full comparison between the 4K and the Blu-ray, and I also talk about what's all included in the Director's Cut of this. But today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite films from 1978, and that is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And we're going to be comparing the 4K and the Blu-ray. But before that, I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience watching Invasion of the Body Snatchers for the first time. Now, when I always hear people say that remakes suck. Remakes should never be made. People are hand and fist mad that remakes, don't ever remake remakes again. Honestly, there are some movies I go to prove them completely wrong. Not all remakes are bad. And the movies that I always go to prove them wrong is De Palma's Scarface. David Cronenberg's The Fly, Carpenter's The Thing. Michael Mann redid his own TV movie with 1995's Heat. Christopher Nolan's Insomnia. Martin Scorsese with The Departed. And 1978's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And all these outbeat or right up there with the originals. And I grew up watching Invasion of Body Snatchers and loved it thanks to my dad. He recorded on TV when I think we were 10 or 11. And we were just mesmerized by everything with this movie. Not just the horror aspect, but how expertly it was made. Director Philip Kaufman made it feel like you're experiencing a living nightmare with no escape. It was also very violent and gory and had some nudity that was definitely a lot for a PG-rated movie. I'm still surprised how they got away with it being PG with the blood and the nudity in this movie. But then again, it was the late 70s. I also think this is one of the most overlooked, not just remakes, but movie overall. When I hear people talk about some of the greatest horror movies, this is never mentioned. If you haven't seen it, it's a must-see. So how does this 4K UHD compare to the Shout Factory's Blu-ray release? And is it worth double dipping if you already have it? Well, let's find out. And as usual, I have some screenshots here to compare the difference between the 4K and the Blu-ray. Now, I still own the Shout Factory Blu-ray, and when I compared the Shout Factory Blu-ray with Kino Lorber's 4K UHD release, it's an immediate upgrade. There is improved clarity in both daylight and nighttime footage. There are also excellent ranges of highlights and shadow nuances, but one of the biggest differences is with the depth of visuals. It is a substantial improvement over the Blu-ray. Also, much more detailed levels across the board. And when going back and comparing the Blu-ray with this one, I noticed that the Blu-ray has a lot of noisy grain and crushed black levels. Not with this 4K. The 4K UHD restoration and the HDR mastering has a terrific filmic grain structure and deeper black levels with no digital noise or crushed blacks. And the entire color palette is remarkable with new ranges of vibrant and fuller lush colors that look astonishing. One standout to me was the nighttime footage, especially near the ending when Donald Sutherland is infiltrating the warehouse. It all looks very striking and brightly lit compared to the Blu-ray. The HDR color grading breathes new life to the image across the board while still maintaining the original filmic look that again the Blu-ray just didn't have. Kino Lorber keeps knocking it out of the park with the 4K UHD releases that are done right, especially with the HDR, and this is no different. As for the audio, it does include two different audio tracks. It includes a DTS HD stereo track and a DTS 5.1 surround track. Now, I did start viewing the film with the stereo track and quickly went to the 5.1 track. And then I kept switching between the two audio tracks to compare it during different sequences. And while honestly both tracks do sound terrific, it was the 5.1 track that won out for me. The film starts off with a great eerie score that keeps moving throughout the film, and it shines through all the discrete channels. There are also some terrific sound effects that sound great. The only thing is that there isn't a whole lot of activity with the surround channels outside of some ambient effects and the score. However, dialogue is crystal clear, and I found zero age-related problems or digital artifacts in the audio. It's a fantastic 5.1 audio mix. I'm giving Kino Lorber's 4K UHD release of Invasion of the Body Snatchers a 5 out of 5. Very highly recommended. Ditch the previous Blu-ray version, whichever one you have, and pick this one up. So tell me, when comparing between the Blu-ray and the 4K, which do you think looks better? Let me know down below in the comments. All right, well, as always, I want to thank you for joining me on this little comparison review video. And also keep an eye out for these. I'm going to be reviewing and comparing the new 4K UHDs and the Blu-rays with Criterion's new 4K releases of Mulholland Drive, Menace to Society, and Citizen Kane. So keep an eye out for those comparison videos. And as always, keep doing your part in keeping physical media alive, and we'll see you next time.